Okay, I think we should be running live now. So I'm just gonna double test just to make sure that my mic is working as it should, and then we're gonna move on. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to our channel, Trendline Forex here, with another live session. Um, uh, Again, this is going to be the first one for this week because it's only Tuesday, all right? And then we're going to have another one on Thursday, which is going to be the 31st, and this is going to be before the NFP. But we also have other high impact news this week, which is mainly Fed interest rate decision. I'm sure those of you who are taking trading seriously, you guys, well, at least you're supposed to follow the economic calendar, make sure that you are aware of what kind of news we have coming up. But also, we're going to cover this most recent pullback that we had here on the majors, including gold as well. Because there are still people that are texting me asking why we have such a sharp drop. So, anyways, let me just send a couple of messages here and there, let people know that we're actually live, and then we can carry on. So I'm going to grab the link from here, and I'm going to share this with the free Telegram channel. If you haven't joined yet, make sure to do so. Um, so there are links in the description below this stream, or if you're not watching this live, then check out the description below this video. You can join the free Telegram from there. Okay. Okay, I've got the wrong thumbnail though. Isn't that right? I think I've got the wrong thumbnail, right? Let me fix the thumbnail. Can I do that while I'm live? I don't even know, to be honest. Let me see. So that must go in the live sessions. Uh, okay, I think I can. Right, I was supposed to do that before the live session, but that's fine. I'll figure it out right now. So this is, yep, this is the one that I'm looking for. Okay. Right. I've got the right thumbnail now. Let me just grab the link, see if it works. In the meantime, you guys let me know if you can hear me well, if the audio is good, is it loud enough, or do I need to turn the volume up? Just let me know if everything is running smoothly. And of course, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat box. Well, thumbnail ain't changing on the, but it's fine. I'll just leave it as it is. So let me just leave a private message button. I know some of you guys are too shy to ask questions because you think you're asking dumb questions, but any question is good, but it works, right? It's better to ask dumb questions rather than not asking any questions at all, because, you know, really depends on your stage as a trader, but you may need to know some really basic stuff. So if that's the thing with you, then that's fine. Just shoot your questions in the chat box. And if you want to send me a private message, you can do that via the free Telegram channel, right? So make sure to join that as well. And for those of you who haven't subscribed to our YouTube yet, do that right now. Click that subscribe button. Like I said, we're doing a couple of those live sessions every week. Sometimes we do the London session, sometimes we do the US session. But not only that, I will also try to be more frequent with my uh, posting, you know, sharing other videos. Also, also, any updates regarding the volatility expert advisor and our monthly results each and every month, you know, you can get them here on this YouTube channel. All right, so what's going on so far? We are pushing down on the euro. I'm actually looking at the 4-hour time frame. Right now, let's check out the 15-minute time frame. So far we can see that there is a little bit of a strong momentum here on euro dollar. Not that strong really, but you know, at least we've got some movement. Um, you know, I believe we're probably going to see even more movement in about 20-30 minutes. So let's see how it goes. But I'm going to share with you what are my views after the pullbacks that we just saw here on the 4-hour chart, right? Because we're talking about pretty massive pullbacks, right? Around 200 pips of a move on euro dollar in a short period of time. It doesn't really happen that often. Um, and by the way, if you already know what was the reason behind this move, let us know. Drop it in the comment section, and I'll tell you what I think it is. You know, you can probably see it on my screen. Can you see that? Oh no, you actually can't, but it's fine. We're gonna move on to another screen in just a second. Right. So just one more message right here. Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're good to go. So let's see what we got here. Um, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, in fact, let's have a look at the daily. Every time when a new week starts, I'm always very curious to see how the Monday daily candle closed on the instruments that I trade, because I really want to see, you know, sometimes that really sets the tone for the week ahead as to what kind of price action we're gonna have. And when it comes to gold specifically, this is the daily time frame, and this is yesterday's daily candle. It doesn't tell us nothing, to be honest. I mean, obviously, we've got some reaction down here because we are at an important support levels. But overall, I think we may actually see a continuation to the downside short term. Okay, so um, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, we've got those lows right here. Okay, and I'm talking about the level around 3,260 roughly. So if we manage to get down here, maybe get another one of those rejections. See, whenever I'm talking about rejection or rejection wicks or price not being able to gather enough momentum to continue in a certain direction, this is exactly what I mean right here. Why? Because if I zoom the chart out, okay, so you can see we've got a previous low at the same level, right around 3,260. Okay, so the next time price comes back for a retest of that level, okay, now at this point, when price was testing this level, we already knew that we are in an uptrend, okay, and we can clearly see that from the 4-hour chart. For example, if I zoom the chart out, you will see that we are in a clear uptrend, but also the daily time frame, a really long-term clear uptrend, okay. So we were trading, let me just move that. We were trading again at the 3,260 level, okay, and then we saw this kind of rejection. All right, so we've got the first one, second one, third one, the fourth one with a really much longer wick than the previous wicks, and then we have a bullish engulfing candle. Now, to me, you know, in most cases, this would be a textbook reversal signal. And this is exactly what we saw in this case, all right? Not long after that, you see we've got some momentum to the upside. Now, what has happened since then is, you know, we kept climbing up, almost testing the previous high, pretty much testing the previous highs. So we're now trading back to the downside, and it looks like we're breaking below this previous structure. Now, I already know that I've got a strong level down here around 3,260. So really, this area is what makes me think that if price comes back for a retest yet again, we can potentially wait for, exactly the same or a similar signal. And whenever we get that, we can then trust this signal and, potentially get a long trade. Now, like I said, we've got Fed interest rate decisions, so we've got to be very careful with our setups. For me personally, it doesn't make a lot of sense to enter trades, especially if we're talking about 4-hour chart or even the hourly chart. Right before news, I do not do that. I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. If you're looking for intraday setups and you've got news later on, throughout the day, maybe yes, all right. But whenever you're looking for trades where you're most likely going to be in that trade when the news come out, to me it doesn't make a lot of sense. You're basically, in most cases you're pretty much gambling, because sometimes you get positive news for a certain economy, but at the same time you will see a move in the opposite direction, and that is most likely because that move has already played out during the rumors. I know we've all heard that, but it's true, and there are many examples when an event like this has happened. So, anyways, let's start from the beginning. Euro dollar. So here is the daily time frame. Yesterday's daily candle, a massive one. Now, why was this pullback? Why did it happen? Nobody was expecting this, right? And I can imagine a lot of people have had long positions from the lows down here, which well done. And they were still holding their trades open with either stop loss, whatever they placed their stop loss initially, or even better, if they managed to move their stop loss to break even, or even better, if they manage to lock in some profit with their stop loss. But with a move like this, you basically get out of the market. So why did that happen? Well, right here. So apparently the US and the EU have agreed on certain terms when it comes to trade deals, and more importantly, this deal has ended a months-long standoff per Bloomberg. So a news like this was kind of expected, but there wasn't a set date and time for that. So that is why we have such a sharp reaction out of nowhere. Okay. So that's good to know. Also, what else is good to know? It's like I said in the beginning, the economic calendar. So all I'm doing is at the beginning of every week, and you already know that if you have watched some of my previous live sessions or some of my courses from our website, then you already know I always do that. In the beginning of every week, I just have a look at the high impact news coming up throughout the week, right? And we already know that we've got Fed interest rate decision, which is actually tomorrow, okay? And half an hour after that, we've got FOMC press conference. Now, even though we're not expecting any changes in the interest rate, I believe we're going to see some moves across the market, especially the majors. And this is exactly what I wanted to see. And in fact, this right here, although a lot of traders will be looking at this as a reversal and they're going to start looking for selling positions, I won't do that. In fact, I wanted to have a pullback like that, because if you zoom the chart out, you will see that we're looking at quite a strong and steep trend. Okay, so whenever you've got a trend like this is great because we know what is the market direction, so we know we should be buying mainly, but we still need some pullbacks in order to find those good risk to reward ratio setups, right? And with a setup like this, you get a much better risk to reward ratio. So where is this pullback likely to end? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Fibonacci retracement tool here on the 4-hour time frame, and I can already see that we are currently testing the 38.2 level. Now, like I said, we've got news coming up tomorrow, so until then, if we manage to continue to the downside but at the same time kind of reduce the momentum that we're that we see right now. That would be ideal. All right, whenever you got a move like this, a steep move to the downside, and then it starts going like this, well, in this part right here, in this bit, you can actually see that the market is losing momentum. And so all you need is a key level where that momentum will potentially end, okay? And of course, you need a trend as well. And then not only a key level, but then you need some confirmation. So let's say you want to see price breaking above previous structure. So when you have that shift in the market, you then have a confirmation to start entering buy positions. And this is exactly what we want to see here. All right, the first level would be 38.2, the second level would be 61.8. So let's see how it goes. Of course, I'm not looking for entries today. If I am, I should probably go short, but I'm not going to do that because it's basically trading against the main trend. And I'm not saying you can't be profitable that way, but you have to be a lot more experienced, I would say, whenever you're trading against the trend, because you have to learn how to recognize patterns. So if you are trading against the main trend, that means that you have to be ready. You have to really actively manage your positions, each one of your trades. It's a little bit easier when you're trading, when price is actually trending. All right. So let me know if that makes sense. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna emphasize on that. But this is it pretty much, right? So here is pound dollar. Again, we're gonna check out the daily time frame. 3 consecutive trading bearish days. So we just took out this low. Okay, that makes me think. So we've just taken out the lows right here. That makes me think we're most likely going to see some pullback here, and maybe there's going to be another bearish leg. If there isn't going to be one, then I probably would need to see price creating some higher structure. So as soon as we see A, B, C, D pattern here, then that probably means we're looking at a trend reversal. Not a trend reversal, but basically a reversal of this pullback within the trend. Okay, but again, just like with the euro dollar, I'm definitely not looking to take any sell positions. Okay, um, even current price levels are looking good enough for price to, you know, uh, reverse back to the upside. So that's why I do not want to kind of give levels that are way too far to the downside. You know, if we come back for a retest of, let's say, 1.3150, for example, and this is this level right here, we have tested this level multiple occasions, okay, from below and from above as well. Maybe if we come back down here at the same level, then we get another reversal. This is going to give us a pretty decent risk to reward ratio again, because we're going to be able to place our stop loss just below that reversal. And when it comes to targets, I'm going to be expecting for price to actually break above this high. And then the next one will be 1.3862. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm being completely honest with you. Right now, I don't have any entries. And at the same time, tomorrow, since we're going to have interest rates, I'm not going to be looking for entries before that either. Okay. So yes. When it comes to 15-minute setups, so if we are looking for intraday setups, for me it's very hard to tell you to go short because I wouldn't do it myself. But if that's the case, then I'm not going to be looking for price to push higher. Okay, now it could happen, of course, if we see, let's say, if we see a strong momentum like this breaking above all that structure, well, then that probably means we are heading for a move towards the upside. So in that case, we would be able to place, let's say, the fib retracement, and let's say, for example, look for the 61.8. But in order for price to create a move like this, we would need a momentum. So it's very important to be able to recognize whenever there is momentum in the market, because that means the market has just reached a level at which buyers or sellers have interest, and that's where they place their orders. All right, so that's important for us to know, whenever we have levels like this. um, what about the yen cross pairs? Well, obviously we've got similar move here on the cross pairs, even though those pullbacks are not as strong. So say for example the pound yen, ideally I would love to see price testing the 61.8 again, so basically 197.20 roughly. So if you manage to come all the way down here and then get a reversal, then this is going to be a perfect setup for me. I'm more than happy to enter a setup like this any day of the week. Okay, but this is when it comes to pound yen. What about euro yen though? By the way, do you guys trade the yen cross pairs? And and if you don't, then do you actually trade any cross pairs? Um, euro yen. The thing is, obviously, this pullback, there is a chance that we're going to see continuation to the downside short term. But when it comes to levels, I really don't know. I mean, there aren't that much levels in this uptrending move. So, you know, maybe just for price to take out the lows right here would be enough for a reversal. But I wouldn't give a specific level. So whenever I'm in a situation like this where I'm not sure at which level I'm supposed to look for entries, what I would do is just wait and see how price reacts to previous lows. So if let's say it looks like we're breaking below those lows, but then we have a quick comeback above the same level, that most likely means we are about to reverse. And then I would find another structure and I would wait for price to break and retest that structure. Okay, and this is how I basically build up my ideas as to where to enter a trade. Uh, it is much easier if you're not following plenty of instruments, but instead of that, just a couple of instruments. You can do that easily. Um, and when it comes to risk management, it's also much easier as well, and to analyzing your results as well. Because if you have one trading account and you enter random positions on random instruments at random times on this account, it's going to be very difficult for you to track your record. I mean, you can do it if you use one of those softwares which makes a journal out of your trades. If that's the case, then that's fine. But if you're doing everything manually and by yourself, it's easier to focus on one or two instruments, and that's it. In times like this, it's very difficult to stick to the lower time frames and try and look for entries, right? And especially even if you know that price will eventually continue lower, you're trying to enter a short trade after a move like this, okay? So all the smart traders have entered their positions up here, selling price. So they're now in profit or already took profit, while you're trying to chase price and enter a sell trade down here. It doesn't work like this. You're basically selling whenever the price is low. You want to sell when the price is high. Obviously, these are the basics and the foundations of what trading should be like. But how do you fix that? Well, all you got to do is to just wait for a bit of a pullback, and then you can look for short positions if this is what you want to do, right? And this is the patience that it takes for one to be profitable. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You're going to be in the same loophole all the time. Is anyone watching the session using the volatility expert advisor? I'd love for someone to share how the VEA is performing in market conditions like this. Because the idea is that you want to have, you're not looking for, just like with the manual trading, you would normally wait for price to get to a certain level. Then let's say you want to enter a buy position. So now you need the market to do this in order for you to make profit. But with the VEA, you're looking for not a single level, but a full area where you're going to load, multiple trades. So whenever the market enters that area, and instead of going to the upside, completing your analysis, it starts trading like this. If you are doing this manually, you're now stressing out. You don't know what to do, or you're frustrated because you have to close your trade because you're not sure what the market is going to do next. But whenever you get price action like this with the VEA, this is where you make all the profit. So current market conditions are very good for the expert advisor. Okay. And also, if there's anybody using it but doesn't have it right now, doesn't have it on right now, and they're waiting for a good moment to let it run, well then, here on euro dollar, this is a perfect example because you've already got the pullback, so you can easily pick the bottom of the market. Now if you're trying to enter one position and pick the bottom of the market, you're most likely going to get smashed. All right. um, Price is either going to wick you out or it will continue pushing down. You're going to get stopped out most of the times. But with the VEA, you have an area, and then whatever the market does, eventually when it reverses, you're going to have loaded positions within this area everywhere. So you're going to be profiting as price is pushing up. And even if it doesn't exit that area, even if it's even if it's ranging and trading in between those levels, you are still making profit because you enter buy positions. The next time price goes up, it closes those trades. The next time you see a pullback, you start loading up positions again, and all of that is done automatically. If there's anybody who's got interest, well then you can check out trendlineforex.com, click on the volatility trading button up here. You can read more about this too. And there's also a full course which is completely free of charge. Okay. And you can see how the expert advisor actually works and how it can help your trading. Or you can, chat to us at any given moment. Yeah, so far not much going on, to be honest. Um, Look at the pound dollar. We are currently trading sideways, really, no clear direction. Then we have gold with a strong drop to the downside. It looks like we started climbing up, but this is kind of slow price action. All right, it's not as quick as this drop, right? So I actually think we may see some lower structure before we actually reverse. So I'm not yet ready to enter any buy positions right now. But let's see how it goes. I mean, I do like the rejections on the 4-hour time frame that we have right here. It looks like price keeps pushing up. So, obviously, at some point we should see that reversal. Like I said, I have a long bias and I'm not switching that bias anytime soon. I think with the Fed interest rate decision tomorrow, we're most likely going to see a confirmation of this analysis. I do like the levels on the yen cross pairs though, because we are already testing the lows. Okay, so here on pound yen, but also on euro yen as well. Now, really, if we have a 4-hour bullish candle closing above, this price action, this is going to be a good signal for a strong move to the upside. I'm not sure if we're going to get that at this level or maybe a little bit lower, but this is what I'm going to be looking for, essentially. So I feel like before we even get entries on the majors, we may actually see some decent setups on the yen cross pairs. So this is something to watch out for. I'm just going to mark this as green labels as well, meaning that we do have a potential setup. And I'm going to remove the majors because I feel like we're going to see some more continuation to the downside. Um, so what do I have on the 4-hour chart? I'm going to delete this level right here. Okay, it looks like we're breaking below the 38.2 level. Another instrument that we talked about in the premium telegram is the euro aussie. Okay, now if you have been following the live sessions, you would know that we were talking about a potential downside move from up here from the 61.8, or basically 1.8050, 55, 56, something like this. So this is exactly what happened. First we had this drop, then we had a bit of a pullback within this move right here. And then we said that we're going to be looking for a lower high. And this is exactly what we get with this level right here, around 1.7960. Now, since then, we had a further drop to the downside. And it looks like we also formed another lower high. So we now have 1, 2, 3 consecutive lower highs. So that probably means we're going to see another one and a continuation to the downside. When it comes to targets here, it's easy. One way to do it is we can use the fib expansion to look for the 100% level. Now the first target has already been completed, all right, 1.7740. The next one will be 1.7590. This is where I'm expecting to see price next. If I zoom out to see whether this level fits some other levels, it is just below this previous low, and slightly above this previous low as well. So it's a good level to look for targets. Okay, I think price can easily push strong enough to send the market down to 1.79, 75.90. So this would be a target in my opinion here on Euro Aussie. If you guys have any positions, let me know, even if they're on instruments that I'm not looking at. I don't mind. I can open up the chart and see, what kind of trades you're taking. Um, but let's see how it goes. Euro dollar continuing the bearish momentum from the beginning of the session. Pound dollar also pushing down as we speak. And the same thing with the yen cross pairs, really. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything less, to be honest. this is probably the perfect environment for the expert advisor. Okay, earlier when I said that you need, more of a sideways movement rather than a clear trending market for the expert advisor to work best, this is what I mean. Now, if let's say you started using the expert advisor right here in the middle of this range, whichever you set up, either the sell settings or the buy settings, you would have made money because the market is trading sideways, giving you that volatility that you need in order to make profit with the help of the bot. Okay, so if you manage to enter at the midpoint, and it's not even that important to do that because you can basically, let's say you enter a long position on a pullback. Okay, so even if price comes into your area and it then shoots to the upside, you can actually set up the expert advisor to move this area as price is moving up. So your area first is going to look like this, then as price continues pushing up, your area is going to move up here, then up here. So every time you see a pullback, you're going to be making money. And if you do that long term, or if you have a large enough account to leave it to let it run for, on a VPS without really switching it off, you're going to be able to make some great profits, some really good profits. And you can actually see on this YouTube channel, my most recent videos are about, exactly that, how much money you can actually make with the VEA. Of course, there is no cap, but it really depends on your risk appetite and also on your account size, and of course the broker that you use it on. But we did have some really good results in the past couple of months, and I believe this will carry on. So there's going to be more updates on the accounts that we have opened specifically for YouTube to demonstrate how the expert advisor works. We only do it on live accounts. We're not doing any demo accounts to show you. Probably saw a funny picture on my screen, but it's my Windows. It automatically, picks random pictures. I don't even know. Sometimes they're really weird. Just have a look at this one, please. Just have a look at this. Ain't that crazy? This is what I have to deal with. Okay, how did okay, there we go. I didn't choose this wallpaper, it was Windows doing it automatically. I think I have to complain, honestly. But anyways, so do you guys currently look at any setups, any instruments that you currently trade, or uh, are you in any trades right now? Because there's not much going on here on the majors. If I have to be honest, right now in price action like this, I don't even want to switch down to a lower time frame. And there's no point for me to lie to you and tell you that you're going to be able to find a setup. Of course, you are going to be able to find a setup. If you go on the 1 minute time frame, there's going to be setups every 5 minutes or so. But you don't have to do that. Okay. Instead of that, you have to recognize whenever the market is like this, you know, you can say, okay, I can see we are in an uptrend. I want to enter a buy position, but I need a good risk to reward ratio. So I need a pullback. Right, I've already got the pullback. So now I have to find my entry. Do I have my entry now? No, price is still in a pullback. So I just have to wait. Let's switch to another pair. All right, this is what your thinking process should be like whenever you're looking for trading opportunities. Okay, so here is pound dollar, kind of a role play that I'm doing right now, but here is pound dollar. So obviously we have positive correlation to euro dollar. So I'm not expecting anything much different. But what do we have? We have the daily time frame. It looks like we're breaking below this low. Okay, since there are going to be many stop loss and pending orders down here, that is probably going to send price back to the upside. So my job is to find out whether this upside move is going to be the reversal, or is it going to be just a pullback within this move, and then we're going to see a continuation lower. okay, whatever it is, I have Fed interest rate decision tomorrow. So maybe the major move is not going to happen until the news are out, okay? And that is actually true. So that's why I said in the beginning of the session, I'm actually not looking for any trades right now, and I'm not going to be looking for any entries tomorrow before the news, okay? So sometimes that may mean that you're not going to be trading for a couple of days or maybe even 3 days. But guess what? This is the right way to do it. Okay, 2 days isn't even that much of a time. You know, sometimes you're not going to have a decent setup for a week or two, and all you got to do is to be able to sit on your hands. Because imagine you've made some profit before that, so you want to keep that profit. You don't want to give it back to the market. Okay, or imagine that you're constantly losing. If you are, well, then you have to change something. Okay, how about your patience? Right, this is something that you can change, or not your patience, but your attitude towards trading and entering positions. You don't have to change the strategy every time, I'll tell you that. Okay, and then we have gold. Now, gold is the one which is actually looking tasty, all right? Even if we manage to push a little bit lower, that would be even better, okay? Because we're gonna have a much better level to enter a long position at. So ideally, this is what I want to see. Now, I know there are some traders who are in long positions currently, you know, probably holding losses, not wanting to close those trades and accept the losses and cut those trades off. They don't want to do that. Instead of that, they want to stay and hope and pray that the market is going to reverse. Okay. But me on the other side, I want to see the market coming down even a little bit lower. Why? Because I know when I'm supposed to trade and when I'm not. So right now I'm not in any trades. Okay. Now, when you're using the volatility expert advisor, this is different, but you're basically not bothered about pullbacks in the market. You actually need those pullbacks. So even with the VTS, you know, you're not going to have any issues trading price action like this. Um, but with the news tomorrow, we're going to be able to see. So basically, the idea is that we want to see price until tomorrow, until the news tomorrow, pushing a little bit lower. And then during the news, we want to see a strong reversal pattern here. Okay, maybe something like this, right? A pin bar or a hammer candle, whatever you call it, and then an engulfing candle to the upside. All right, if we see a couple of those candles at a key level, that most likely means we're going to see a continuation of the trend. So it really is patience when it comes to situations like this. You know, I'm still blown away how people, you know, sometimes it takes me, all right, so have a look at what just happened to the market. So where do we enter now? You know, the thing is, we don't have to enter now, right? Nobody's holding a gun to your head telling you to enter a trade or you're gonna get shot, right? It's doesn't work like this. You've got all the time in the world to do your analysis, to prepare properly for whatever the market gives you, to have plan A, plan B, all right? Okay, so if this happens, then I'm gonna do that. Okay, but if that happens instead, well, I'm gonna react this way. Okay, so you must have those plans. Um, and you've got to be flexible with your decisions. But do not take it wrong. You shouldn't be switching your bias all the time. So for example, for me here on golds, I may switch my bias if we break below 3,120. Okay, but as you can see, we're quite far from this level, right? Even though, to be honest, even if we break below this level, I'm probably still going to be looking for long positions. Yeah, most definitely, because just have a look at the trend on the weekly time frame. Is there any point going against that trend? Why would we think that, you know, we can actually beat the market and bet against all of that volume? Do you know how much money it takes for the market to move that much? Literally billions, not even millions, right? And then you have a €1,000 account and you want to bet against the main trend, you're gonna get smoked. But anyways, So anyways, I think I'm gonna end the session here. Lastly, what I'm gonna say is check out our website, trendlineforex.com. I'm actually gonna drop a link right now in the chat box. That's where you can find a lot of free information. Okay, we've got plenty of blog articles on any topic. Okay, we also have the Forex dictionary for those of you who are just starting out. If you don't know what is liquidity, what is fair value gap, or what is support, resistance, trend, stuff like that, you can find all of that right here. We have many courses. Some of them are completely free. So let's say, for example, the beginner's course. If you're just starting out with trading, you don't exactly know where to start or how to start. Click on services, beginner, and then you can click on that free Forex training for beginners. Like I said, it's completely free of charge. All you got to do is to sign up on our website. And for those of you who are more serious about trading, you can either get the mentoring package, which means all of our courses. We've got about 15 courses, which are paid courses. So you're going to get access to all of those. Also, you're going to get access to 1 full year in our premium Telegram channel. This is where we send out daily video analysis, telling you what is the market direction on all of the instruments in my watch list right here. Okay, so you will know each and every day in what direction to trade. Right, something that I have to make clear is that we do not send trading signals. We're here to teach people how to actually trade, so that's why we don't do that. And you'll also get some other stuff. You get access to our trading bots. So obviously with that comes our assistance with anything, any questions that you have, following your results, analyzing your trades and stuff like that, making sure that you're actually improving each month. So like I said, this is for those of you who really want to take trading seriously. Okay, also, if you are wondering which broker to use for your live accounts, well then you can work with one of our partners. We are working with the best brokers out there, and you can also get cash back depending on which broker you pick, but basically based on what kind of volume you trade each and every month, you can get cash back on that. So you can read more about this on the cashback page. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure to do so. There's going to be another live session this Thursday, and then again next week, Tuesday and Thursdays. We're going to do some more live sessions. We're going to see what the market did during the news that we have tomorrow, and we're going to be able to find some really good setups. Overall, I have a long bias again on euro dollar, on pound dollar, and gold, which means I'm not looking for buy positions right now, but eventually I am expecting for price to reverse, and I feel like tomorrow would be a good moment with the Fed interest rate decision. And also on Friday we have NFP, as it is going to be the first Friday of the month. If you're still struggling to read fundamentals, to understand which news are important, when you need to be aware of specific news events, news releases, and stuff like that, you can check out our fundamental analysis course on trendlineforex.com, and you can enroll for that training. This is where you're going to learn everything you need to know when it comes to Forex specifically, what you need to be aware of, and how to basically trade based on news releases and stuff like that. So all of that is in the fundamental analysis course on our website, trendlineforex.com. And of course, last but not least, the volatility trading system. I mean, you should have already seen the results that we have. If you haven't, make sure to check out some of my most recent videos on this YouTube channel. And obviously, if you need to know more about this system, if you want to incorporate it into your trading, because it's going to make your trading a lot easier and a lot less stressful. If you need more information about this, you can just send us a message or just request access to the program. Okay, you can join now, and obviously then we can hop on a quick call where I can explain exactly how this works and how it's going to change your trading. This is something really big in our team. So anyways, guys, I think I'm going to end the session right here. Thanks everybody for joining in. I can already see I've got a couple of messages here on Telegram. So if you want to chat with me, you can join the free Telegram channel. This is where you can find the my personal chat. So you can send me a private message, and I'm gonna make sure to answer all of your questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.